Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you both again for your service. I wanted to go back to the ongoing assessment of the restructuring of active brigade combat teams. And I was happy and honored to participate in one of those listening sessions at Fort Polk by Skype very recently. And I'll just quickly mention some of the significant factors there in Fort Polk's favor. The Army's own analysis indicates there wouldn't be any need for military construction to not only retain its BCT, but it could accommodate 1,000 more soldiers. And it's one of the few Army installations with an active land acquisition program, which is ongoing. And there's a very unique Joint Readiness Training Center there, capable of training forces for exactly the sorts of conflicts we're facing today. Ms. Secretary, with all that in mind, can you reaffirm to the committee that this process is going to be fully open and transparent using objective criteria, and that you'll release that grading, if you will, based on those criteria?
The means by which we arrive at these decisions will be released. I want to assure not just the good people of Fort Polk, but all across this great country that we are doing this in the most deliberative, the most objective way possible. And I would note as well the reports I received on the public listening opportunity outside Fort Polk was extraordinarily well attended, so we appreciate
Absolutely.
That kind of interest.
Yeah, great. Can you also confirm that the process will certainly consider the factors I mentioned, including that Fort Polk has a land acquisition program, is growing for mission expansion, and would not need any additional MILCON?
Yeah, all of those factors are critical to establishing military value, are critical to judging the kinds of investments that may be needed in the future. So anything that post-camp or station is in a posture to do, like adding land, is certainly something we have to judge.
Right. And I can't speak for anyone else here, but I think it's going to be a very widespread concern if there's a big MILCON bill to shrink the Army in the context of the fiscal situation we've been discussing today. And finally, on this point, will you be releasing the grading, if you will, of facilities according to these objective criteria and the weighting guidance about these different criteria?
The commitment we have made to the committees is to share both the inputs, in other words, the various criteria, and also to share with the professional staff members the weighting that attends those. Those have not been decided as yet. Those are still something that the Chief and I need to take a look at and make final determinations. But based on my experience in past force changing initiatives, it does not inure to the Army's interest to try to be as secretive. We want to be as open as possible, but also as fair as possible to everyone as we go forward.
Okay, great. And General, on the same topic, I know one factor listed is proximity, which appears to mean the Army's desire to have the BCTs close to division headquarters. Why is that important, particularly these days with all sorts of distance communications available?
Well, first, one of the lessons we've learned out of especially the last 5 or 6 years, when we went to full modularity of brigades, is that the oversight, the training and oversight necessary that a division headquarters gives, both from a training perspective, a discipline perspective, a standards perspective, we saw some degradation in that. And so we're trying to make some subtle adjustments to get the divisions, once again, more involved with having training oversight with the brigade combat teams to ensure standards are being sustained, proper training requirements are being met, the development of officers and non-commissioned officers becomes a very important criteria as we move forward. So those are the kind of things. Now, that said, it doesn't mean they necessarily have to be co-located to do that, but it is something we want, is to have the divisions more involved with the brigade combat teams.
Okay, so just to be clear, it doesn't absolutely require close physical proximity?
It does not.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.